Hello everyone, welcome to Double Delta. I'm Sean.
And I'm
Toby.
Sick. Humor at its finest.
It truly is.
We're getting people going on the collar. Ooh, funny. So, anyway, welcome to a new show we're trying out called What's Your Fave? So basically, the concept of it is each person comes to the table with their favorite film of a specific genre, and then they just talk about it, why it's their favorite, and then if one, it opens up to the floor for a general discussion, not necessarily a debate, because if it's debate, I'm going to get angry. I can just tell. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. The genre for this video is non-Marvel comic movies. So the film I bought is The Dark Knight. What's yours, Toby?
Well, I've brought Edgar Wright's finest, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
So, this first section of the video is each person describing why they love the film so much. So, I'll be going first because Toby's a little bitch. So, here we go. The Dark Knight was directed by Christopher Nolan and stars Christian Bale, Heath Ledger, Aaron Eckhart, Morgan Freeman, and Michael Caine as the big stars of the film. It had a budget of $185 million and grossed worldwide $1 billion. Now, the reason I love it so much is it's directed by Christopher Nolan, who is an incredible director. I've never seen him make a bad film, in my opinion. In this film, he doesn't do anything too flashy. There's nothing too incredible with the directing, but he had a massive part in the story, and that comes through in the directing because he shows such passion for the character of Batman. Now, it's based off a critically acclaimed Batman graphic novel called Batman: The Long Halloween. It's an incredible story about how Harvey Dent, who in this film is played by Aaron Eckhart, becomes Two-Face, and Heath Ledger's Joker again is just incredible. The amount of dedication he put into that film, and him and Daniel Day-Lewis, you could consider them as two of the best method actors. However, Heath Ledger's sadly was not able to be seen in any other films, his acting ability, as he died soon after the film. However, as the Joker, he was so menacing. Now, in my opinion, he wasn't the perfect Joker because he was just more of a psychopath in this film, which made him seem threatening, made the story seem really gripping, but it didn't come across as a Joker, rather just a psychopath, because the Joker, in my opinion, should be doing ridiculous things as well as being a dangerous psychopath. And Aaron Eckhart's Two-Face was, again, incredible. The emotional struggle which he portrayed throughout the film, again, thanks to the directing and story of Christopher Nolan, is just incredible. And it had you gripped. You forget about him for a bit. And then when he comes back, it comes as a shock, which is just what you want in a film. Now, Christopher Nolan, writing about The Long Halloween, he said it's a tragedy rather than a superhero comic, which I completely agree with. And this is shown in the film, as it shows Aaron Eckhart's character slipping into insanity and Christian Bale dealing with the effects of him being Batman. And overall, it's just an incredible story, shot incredibly, and it's just an amazing film. I know I'm supposed to say why, but it's hard to put into words. It's like an epic of a film as well. It's 150 minutes, and it feels like it's an hour at most because it's that gripping and that suspenseful. Thank you very much. Thank you, Christopher Nolan, for a fantastic film.
It's pretty incredible, sure. So, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is effectively the opposite of The Dark Knight, because as much as Sean was saying The Dark Knight is great for its gripping story and not so much for its direction, like it's not in-your-face direction, Edgar Wright does the complete opposite of Scott Pilgrim, having a plot which it doesn't mean anything whatsoever. It's just a guy has to defeat 7 other guys, and that's more or less all you need to know. But that's not why you go to an Edgar Wright film. You go to it for the ridiculously stylized action, and the textography is pretty good in this one as well. The comedy as well, the scene transitions, the way characters and objects enter frame. This is like all Edgar Wright's best features in one film, in my opinion. And not only that, it is just like a comic book in real life. He emulated the style of Brian Lee O'Malley's Scott Pilgrim novels perfectly. Everything from the over-the-top shots of Michael Cera flying through the air with his fist next to his face, and the freeze frames as he punches someone saying KO, and the textography, saying ring ring as a phone goes. It's all perfectly done. And that's not to mention the cast. None of these people are they're not big actors, and I think that's partly why I didn't do that well at the box office, because even the big actors now, like Chris Evans, at the time he hadn't even done Captain America. He really wasn't well known, but that doesn't change the fact that they were all perfectly cast to not only look like the comic book characters, but also act like them perfectly. So, if we go down the list, you've got Michael Cera as the leading actor, which is also another reason why I didn't do that well at the box office, because he's not exactly he's not a big leading guy. But that doesn't matter, because Scott Pilgrim isn't necessarily a big leading actor kind of guy in the comics.
He's doesn't command the screen.
Yeah, he doesn't command the screen. He's a bit socially awkward. And I think that that was perfect for Michael Cera, because even though he didn't really push his acting ability, he does what he does in every film. He does it very well. And then, as you get down the list, the cast remains perfect for the characters. From Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Ramona Flowers, to even minor characters like Ben Lewis as Other Scott. They all look identical to the comics, and really help to get that feeling of a comic book shot in real life.
Cool.
Overall, 6 out of 10.
Also, I'd just like to add that Batman: The Long Halloween was written by Jeff Loeb, and the art was by Tim Sale. In The Long Halloween, there's not as much story, and it's very stylized, which I think gave Christopher Nolan a lot to work with in his style. So it is stylized all the way through. It's just not as obvious.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say he has no directorial talent. He just shot it.
It's
That's
just not as
true.
It's more visually subtle, should we say?
Yeah, which is quite an impressive thing.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it doesn't have to be in your face to be an amazing film.
Yeah, but I think Edgar Wright went so out there with it. It doesn't look like any other film. It can't be mistaken. You take any screenshot, anyone who's seen it will recognize it instantly, and it's not so much like a film. It feels completely different to anything you've ever seen. And I think that kind of works. So he builds a world that's so exaggerated, it becomes believable. And even though it's in your face, you accept it as that's just the world it's set in.
It feels almost like a motion comic.
And another thing is, the more I watch it, I've seen it. This is probably the film I've seen the most, apart from possibly Hot Fuzz. No matter how many times I rewatch it, I've noticed at least one thing new every single time, which really says a lot about Edgar Wright as a director, because you can tell every single prop, every single bit of clothing the character wore was entirely intentional, and you gotta give Edgar Wright a lot of credit for that.
Again, with Baby Driver, which I feel I think it's probably his best film. I think it has layers to it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I've only seen it twice at cinemas, and I wish I'd seen it so many more times.
Yeah, it has layers to it, and you notice it every time you watch it. There's writing on the street where, to match the words in the song.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. And you can just tell from films like Scott Pilgrim, Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, Scott Pilgrim. Did I say Scott Pilgrim?
Yeah.
Baby Driver.
You just love Scott Pilgrim as much as me, so.
Yeah,
Say it twice.
the amount of love he puts into it, I can't really tell that in The World's End. Not a big fan.
I still like The World's End. I just think it's the worst Edgar Wright film, but
Yeah,
that's not saying too much, because Edgar Wright, in my
no,
opinion, is like incredible films.
yeah. I think what we can say from both these is that both directors have a love for the film they made.
Yeah,
It wasn't just something which they pushed out.
yeah,
Because with The Dark Knight, it had the potential for that to happen.
definitely, and
With
that's
it
why.
being such a big franchise.
Yeah, and that's why Edgar Wright left Ant-Man and things like that, because
Yeah.
he's very particular in what he wants.
Yeah.
Like, you probably heard about this, but Quentin Tarantino advised him before he started planning Baby Driver to the music that he should never do that, because it's very likely he's not going to be able to get all the songs that he wants. But,
Yeah.
Edgar Wright being Edgar Wright just said, heck no, and went ahead of it
Yeah.
anyway. And I think that can be admired.
Tarantino, I think this is gonna hurt a lot of people. He's good at making Tarantino films. So the films he's written, he can direct incredibly.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But I think if you put him in any other film, he'd struggle, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, but I don't think he's ever going to do another film.
No, but
He is
anyway,
very
we're
much a
rambling.
director.
We're not.
This
It's
isn't
in
a podcast. Hey,
Ha.
this ain't that kind of movie.
I think Edgar Wright's films, it's incredible. Like Baby Driver isn't by nature supposed to be a funny film.
Yeah.
It's about criminals and stuff, but that he still manages to dwindle in, even if it's just through visual comedy.
Like, there aren't many one-liner jokes I think back on that make me laugh. It's like the scene where he gets his sunglasses hit off, and then in the background of the next shot, he's putting another pair back on.
Yeah.
It's things like that that get me.
Yeah. I was going to say something. Oh no.
This is turning into like a Baby Driver review.
It is a bit, but it's the same with Scott Pilgrim. I think although that one, because the comic, you could say definitely it was like a fantastical comedy.
Yeah.
But there was still more comedy in that than I expected. Whereas The Dark Knight, I don't remember laughing once.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
was just on the edge of my seat, just hand on my mouth.
They're entirely opposite tones, like completely opposite.
The Dark Knight, I think, it's definitely one of the darkest films No, I wouldn't say that, but it's definitely one of the most tonally, consistently dark films.
Yeah, and
like even the bits which you're a bit like, oh, that's badass. You still, in the context of the film, you don't want to be saying that. Like when Joker blows up the hospital and walks out, like in a nurse's dress, or when he shoves someone's head on a pencil, like those are incredible scenes. But in the context, you still are terrified of the Joker.
Yeah, I think Chris Nolan did a really good job of building the world up.
Yeah,
I mean, he had 3 films to do it, but even if you just watch one, you still get a very similar experience.
You can watch them separately.
Yeah.
They're not. That's the beauty of them. It's similar to like an Edgar Wright, the Cornetto trilogy.
Well, yeah.
But no, actually,
not really.
No, yeah, they're linked, but they're completely separate films.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I think is a credit to him. Like you can notice the development in the character, but you can watch it on its own as a film.
Yeah, and it still leaves like a satisfying arc throughout them all.
Okay, so to round off this show, I'd like to talk about honorable mentions. So Toby, if you go first this time.
So, non-Marvel films, some of my favourites for comic book films are Kick-Ass, Kingsman.
Mm-hmm.
I personally quite enjoy Watchmen as well.
Yeah.
Men in Black, which I didn't even know was a comic book film until today.
I'll be reading the comic now.
Yeah.
Give that a go.
And I think, Hellboy as well. Hellboy. Can't forget Hellboy.
I think I'd say the same. Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I like Wonder Woman, but I don't think it's one of the greatest superhero films ever made, or comic book films. I think it's just
disagree.
quite good.
I disagree. I think it's an important film.
It is important. I can't deny that.
It's an important film, although the ending with Ares,
it's so
I
annoyed
felt
me.
that was rushed and a bit.
I would rather
didn't
it
really
ended
make me
20 minutes earlier, where Chris Pine's character goes, "That's not how the world is. Not everyone's good or bad," and that would have been a nice message to end it on. And I was hoping to do that for the whole film, but no.
Yeah.
There's no. That's too complex, even though it's a really simple idea.
Yeah. There's V for Vendetta as well.
Yeah, good choice.
I was a fan of Dread, the new one, not the one with Sly in it.
Yeah.
Because, oh god, that was bad. Kick-Ass and Kingsman, I think, are two incredible films. Kingsman, I'm so excited for the Golden Circle.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been so excited for a comic book film, which is saying a lot. Or at least a non-Marvel comic book film.
Yeah.
Because Guardians of the Galaxy 2 I was pretty excited for.
The other ones in the Christopher Nolan trilogy of films.
Yeah, Batman Begins, Batman, Dark Knight Rises.
The Dark Knight Rises gets a lot of stick, but I like it.
I think it's just coming down from such a huge success critically and commercially.
Yeah, definitely. Batman 1989 with Jack Nicholson as the Joker.
Yeah, I think that's quite good, but in my opinion, Batman and Robin's just a little bit better in terms of plot and characters. What?
Oh yeah,
I can get it. Keep going.
You're not being serious, are you?
What?
You do you like Batman and Robin?
I don't know. I just think it's pretty ice.
You need to chill out.
No, but that was
Joel Schumacher's apologized. He was the guy who made the film, and he apologized.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just, it's just a bit underrated, to be honest. That's what I'm saying.
It's a gem. Gem.
I think the critics are wrong, and we should shut down Rotten Tomatoes because they clearly don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, people need to stop listening to the critics.
It's like they know nothing about films.
No, not at all. So, on that note, I've been Sean.
And I've been Toby.
Thanks for watching What's Your Fave? I'll see you later.
Blow him a little kiss at the end. Is that too forward?
Those uncultured swines forgot Ex Machina.